Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be discussing the Jordan 1 University Blue once again. Specifically, we'll be discussing where exactly the Jordan 1 University Blue is going to be restocking and when that is. To preface this restock guide, for those of you who did already cop these, feel free to watch my video regarding whether you should sell or hold these. If you didn't cop or you just want more, don't worry just yet. As always for Jordan 1s, they will certainly be seeing some restocks, and that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. If there are any other further updates after this, I will be sure to let you guys know, so be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications just so you're always 100% updated on every hyped sneaker. Also, for any urgent updates or info, be sure to follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10 and personals for you. This way you never miss anything and you're in the loop 24/7. Let me know how you guys performed on this drop down in the comments below. Let's kick it off with where the most pairs will be restocking. This has been the case for years, and I expect it to be the case on the Jordan 1 University Blues as well, and that is foot sites. This includes Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, East Bay, and Kids Foot Locker, both for the men and grade school pairs. It is almost a guarantee that these sites will all restock soon based off of all prior hyped releases, most of which we have discussed in the past. However, there are two potential ways that they can go about these restocks. The most common way is completely random times. Random being normally around 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time within a few days of the drop. This is normally the case for most products, especially Jordans, and it's essentially completely random in those times. However, there is another possibility regarding these foot site restocks. We actually just recently saw this occur when it came to the silver toe Jordan 1s. Those were at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. They normally only do this for very hyped Jordan 1s specifically, and this just so happens to be exactly what these are. And this is when foot sites actually schedule their restocks. When this occurs, it's normally visible on a back-end endpoint, and bot developers usually notify their server to prepare for restock, so it's pretty widely known when they are going to restock in advance, or at the very least it does become a rumor. Sometimes, but very rarely, foot sites will even announce on their Twitters about this. The last time they actually announced it was on the Royal Toe Jordan 1, which was obviously a very long time ago, so again, they don't usually announce it, but regardless, there's a good probability that it'll still be a scheduled restock, so just keep your ears open for any potential rumors and whatnot. Regardless of it being random or announced, I would suggest following personals for you on Twitter. As soon as we do see that a solid amount of pairs are restocking, we will tweet out the link as per usual for you guys. Throughout the next week or two, myself and staff will be watching my monitor as well as bot checkout logs very closely. Also, one thing you must understand when it comes to foot sites, this is what I stress all the time in my Head of Cop videos, but I think it's still unclear to some people, unfortunately. Foot sites are not about speed, and this comes with restocks too. They're about persistency. Unlike what you expect on many Shopify sites, for example, the stock is loaded gradually over a span of many minutes, sometimes even hours, rather than all at once. So if you happen to get the out of stock messages or errors, I do tweet out that they still are checking out. I would still suggest trying if you do have free time. Keep in mind, it's not just going to cart immediately for you guys. That is not how foot sites work. And also keep in mind, foot sites in general are extremely difficult to manually cop off. Also, the way we check for these restocks is extremely tedious. You see, you can't actually efficiently monitor the API of foot sites because they do load fake stock 99% of the time. For this reason, we actually just watch for bot checkouts, of which there are a ton of constant pings for random bricks and nonsense sometimes, so feel free to leave a like on the video. Moving on, let's discuss Finish Line and JD Sports, but more specifically Finish Line, and I'll explain why that is. Finish Line and JD used to be incredible for restocks on their website. Jordans used to restock at 10 a.m. Eastern Time usually on the following day or even the Monday after, and they were just fantastic. Recently though, they have been using the new Finish Line reward system though for restocks with points, essentially a pay-to-win system. These don't usually happen as soon as the other restocks though. These will normally take a couple of weeks to occur, but this will definitely be one of the best manual opportunities, and of course that's because you can't bot these Finish Line access type restocks. So just make sure again you do have sufficient status points and you are watching your notifications. This isn't always the case, so it would also be worth checking the links I do tweet out in the site list at the mentioned time, so 10 a.m. Eastern Time normally over the next couple of days. But again, restocking on the site isn't exactly what they've been normally doing as of recently. I'd suggest just being prepared solely as a precaution for that. Those sites will all be your best chance of restocks manually. However, I do also expect some Shopify sites to restock as well over the next few days, especially at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, primarily Shop Nice Kicks, Shoe Palace, DTLR, and Jimmy Jazz. We should definitely expect some decent restocks here, but unless you do have a bot or at least a Shopify monitor, it will be sadly very difficult to cop. Regardless, we'll still try our best on personals for you to send out these links as soon as possible. As always, always, it's worth a try and it can't hurt. Aside from online drops, you should also expect foot stores to do leftovers. Pre-COVID, you would have to wait outside the morning for a ticket, then you would have to come back at 3 p.m. on weekends or 6 p.m. on weekdays to pick up your pairs, but now that is no longer the case. Now, some stores will save them for a later date and just randomly stock them on the shelves. It's first come, first serve, whoever sees them. So I'd suggest at the very least calling your foot stores regarding their specific procedure in case they have not already done the leftovers for these. Sometimes, but not always, they even open up reservations again for the leftover pairs. So again, just call your local ones to confirm their process, because every single one is different and it's going to be relative to your specific location regarding what they're going to be doing. For Europe, I definitely expect Foot Locker Europe to restock these, which will be extremely difficult manual. For Europe, I definitely expect Foot Locker Europe to restock these, which will be an extremely difficult manual cop due to how terrible their sites are. Foot Locker Europe is not random anymore though. They normally load at least a day before with the date and time listed, which is always 8 a.m. CET. The best chance of restocks in Europe, I'd say, would have to be probably Soulbox and Snipe. And Snipes is actually on a later date, as well as Zalando and some other sites. Those are actually going to be dropping on the 8th and 9th, so be sure you keep an eye out for those upcoming releases too, because not every single retailer in Europe has actually dropped, but just keep a lookout for these Soulbox restocks. Just keep a lookout for these Soulbox restocks, and after Snipes does drop, keep a lookout for more Snipes restocks too. And finally, for another good chance in Europe for restocks would definitely be Mesh. This would include Foot Patrol, JD Sports, and Sign. These always restock following the pattern of Tuesday or Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time weekly. Although they do raffles, they always restock leftover pairs at this time. For CET time, this would be at 4 a.m. on Wednesday or Thursday though. Sometimes JD Sports for the Europe only regions will be completely random and they won't follow this pattern, but global sites normally are always the times I did mention. Of course, we're going to do our very best to tweet out when it comes to a lot of these Europe sites too. I would also suggest following more sneakers on Twitter. They're usually pretty good at tweeting out some of these. So as you guys can see, it is not over yet. I always like the saying, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And it's evident here. There are still plenty of opportunities left. Sadly, we can't always get what we want, and it's human nature to act like little bitches after we don't. But I commend you if you do the contrary by keeping your head up, trying your best on these restocks. And if you can't cop these restocks, there will always be more opportunities. So be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all those upcoming opportunities with all these upcoming hype sneakers in the rest of March and even the rest of 2021. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and Personals for You. Remember, if you guys need proxies or Nike sneakers accounts, be sure to check the links in the description for TARS and Kip proxies. With that though, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Congrats if you already copped some, and if you didn't, good luck on these upcoming restocks.
Why you hurting me with your foot? Can't you find somewhere else to keep it put? Get your foot off my foot.